Hey friends. So I'm popping on here to have a discussion about two things, our health halo and how companies trick us with using the one thing we truly want to be against us. And I was going to record a different video, but I'm a little bit too fired up right now because I was scrolling, which I should just stop doing. And I was noticing that there's a lot of promotions with a very specific company that is basically, to me, and not even to me, but through studies that are very easy to find, poisoning our children and ourselves with this health halo. And the health halo is something, it's a layman's term that actually a researcher found. And it was discovered, let's talk a little bit about this health halo that we have and how big companies are trying to use this thing that we have. As human beings currently living in our planet, we actually want to be healthy. All of us do. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most of us do. For most of us, when given a transparent choice, we'll generally choose the healthy option if we know it accurately. And the health halo is this kind of halo we think is on healthy things, which means we allow ourselves to consume more of it. Even though it may have the same amount of fat, it may have the same amount of sugar, just more natural sugar, and it may have many other ingredients that are questionable. And I wanted to bring this up because I think it's something people don't understand with labels. And for those of you who are trying to be healthy and who are going to the grocery store looking like a deer in headlights, I see you, I used to be you, and I understand the frustration because everything that is in the health aisle seems healthy. And so not only do you purchase it thinking that it's healthy, but it has the same amount of ingredients and you eat double of it. And so you still gain weight. And we all know that it's not about being fat. It's just what's linked to fat. It's linked to what's linked to this, what's linked to our metabolic, what's linked to adipose tissue. It's the amount of illnesses that stem. Fat is like such a important precursor to give us ideas of what's happening in the body. When we're overweight, we're full of toxins. Fat's job is to actually bind to toxins so it doesn't poison us. And when it also has multiple other things that it needs to do to protect us, to cushion us from falling, or when we fall, to just actually regulate hormones and send off signals. Guys, fat does a lot, but we need to understand that we don't need massive amounts of it. And that's just a little rant, getting off topic. Let's get back onto topic. And I want to talk a little bit about how companies market to you purposefully so that you purchase their products, even though they are completely unhealthy. And they make you think that they are. And I'm going to share a little bit. There was in the UK, they were going to bring forth this really interesting kind of system. It was called a red light system, kind of like if you have ever gotten the app Think Dirty. It's not about sex, even though that would be fun too, but that's not it. It's actually about a rating system with red, yellow, and green. How simple. And the more you can scan barcodes with this Think Dirty app, and it will tell you how toxic your products are. It's so fun, except for when you actually discover that 90% of your house is toxic. So yeah, you can go around and scanning barcodes with this app. It will give you a coding system. Now the food industry, this was brought forward that they fought this very tiny, they were fighting for this to be released to the public in a very easy to follow red light system. And there was a ton of money, billions of dollars put against this campaign. And the people who were voting for it didn't have all the funds to promote it the same way. And the argument was the public doesn't want this. But really the public had voted that they did. And when they see it, when people actually were using this system, they were eating healthier for real. And there is a company that decided to go on its own and actually create products this way. Did they lose money? No. This was the big fear, right? Are we going to lose money? No. people just started to shop differently and eat healthier because they weren't lied to. Everything was transparent. So I want to share a little bit about that in understanding how labels can work. And you might get angry. You might already know this. So if this is you, then, skip this video. But if you don't, I want you to realize that a company can tell you, so when they started to regulate food and say that you had to basically tell people what the ingredients in the food, what they were, they decided there were two choices, right? We could either change our labeling to manipulate our customers without changing our ingredients for the better and still tell them what's in it, but we're going to make the cover look really like it's healthy. And it's up to the customer's discretion to read the labels in the back and the ingredients. Or we can reformulate. Can you guess what companies chose to do? So what does this look like? It looks like you can grab you can go to Costco, grab a bag of croutons, and it says natural, really big across it. I got caught with this actually. And in a rush. And normally I'm so good at reading labels, but it said natural right across it. And there can be really just one ingredient that's natural in it, and all the rest is a chemical shitstorm. But it's up to me to read it. They do this with our kids too. I just was talking about glyphosate in my other page, and glyphosate is one of the most toxic products in the world. And it causes so much havoc in the body. It's also one of the ingredients in Roundup, which has lost like billions and billions and billions of dollars to, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma because it's associated with it. And yet it's still high traces of it are found above safety for kids level in things like Cheerios and things like cereals. Studies have shown this over and over again. Do we see those studies? Do we see that the news is promoting these things? No. But it's still marketed. Parents will choose Cheerios over a sugary kind because they believe that that product is better for them. When really it's so toxic, it destroys the gut lining. Not only does it do that, it actually creates a complete imbalance in a hormone. It decreases cognitive function. It literally is one of the chemicals that does so much to the body that they can't even begin to describe it. There's just so many things it can do wrong, and yet we eat it. And we're not fine. When people tell me and adults tell me, oh, well, we were fine. No, you're not fine. You were not exposed to that chemical. And so, yeah, so I wanted to share a little bit about that. I'm going to do a video soon to describe how to read labels, how to understand the differences between fats and carbs, and all the things that are going to support an empowered community. That's kind of my jam here, using food as medicine, not using it as a crutch or not feeling like there's a health halo. So when you see me show products, my products are generally going to be simple fruits, simple vegetables, simple. Those are the products that I believe in, and even those sometimes are corrupt. So the food industry is also, in many ways, glyphosate is one of these examples, is owned actually by Monsanto. Monsanto is now owned by Bayer. So we have a pharmaceutical company running our food. And they're not doing that great of a job in most of the studies that we see. So we have to think about these things as adults, as free thinkers, and that's what we are. Technically, we're all free thinkers on this planet. We are allowed to think our thoughts. We are allowed to purchase and ask questions. And I think it's time, with the state of the world the way it is, with 50% of our population being obese, I think it's important for us to really take awareness as well to understanding what obesity looks like, because obesity is way less than what you think it is. If you actually put in the BMI, I actually was considered obese like a couple weeks ago, and that's crazy to me because I am fit and I am, not overweight looking. And yet, yes, I would have been considered obese, or I was considered obese. And so that is really eye-opening to some people when they can go to the CDC and you can put in your height and your weight, and it'll give you, don't do this for children. Children are they have a completely different percentile that they have to go by, so don't count that for kids. But for adults, you can literally see how empowered you can be by doing this. It might make you upset at first when you really realize that it's way less than what you thought, but it is really empowering to know something that you have control over and to make decisions based on this. And I wanted to share that today in this video because I think it's really important for us to realize that we are being marketed to a certain way. We are very much so living in a world of profit over people. And that needs to change because we are the consumers and we have the money and we are the profit. And we need to really start speaking a lot louder with our dollars. And the way to do that is to become educated in what we put in our bodies and on our bodies. And that's what I'm here to do, to help you guys with this.